All right, turn 46. This will hopefully make up for some of the slow turns we've been having. This is a very eventful turn. We got a messenger from Therados. Bone rattling noises. I'm sure that's fine, not ominous at all. And then, of course, there's a dire portent. So yeah, Therados cast Burden of Time. And this is kind of a classic for the undead nations because all their guys are undead. So, they don't care about this. But basically, yeah, everybody just gets old and dies really quickly. Your units, your commanders, your living ones. So yeah, this definitely paints a target on him. But I mean, the undead nations, the pop kill nations tend to kind of have a target on him anyway. So yeah, maybe just he's like, whatever. He's probably already getting attacked by multiple people. This will definitely hurt any of his living enemies. But it will hurt me too. It'll hurt everybody. So, but I'm not really in a position to do anything about this. So, these globals can be dispelled. But we don't have any astral, so yeah, we cannot dispel. But if somebody, usually, because all the living nations don't want this to happen, usually somebody who does have astral will request donations of astral pearls, which is what you need to dispel. So I'll definitely commit some pearls to that if somebody goes for that. Which somebody probably will, because this is just bad news for almost everybody on the map. Yep, getting some more Vine Ogres, seeing some more raiding. Yeah, this didn't work out. This is a ritual spell, I think, Call the Winds. And yeah, this is a lot of PD. I think this is the same. We've seen this cave before. So yeah, sometimes these can snipe the commander, and this will work. But yeah, really only against a very light PD. So kind of just a waste of air gems. Yep, found a magic site. I think this is nature. Maybe just supplies. Had some misses, and then yeah, if you've looked ahead, Niflheim has attacked a lot. So yeah, did not see that coming. In retrospect, there were a lot of Nifl Jarls, which is what he's using. This is all Nifl Jarls. This doesn't go well for us. We can take a look at a few of these. But yeah, there were actually a lot of Nifl Jarls stacked up, I think, in this fort. I did have sight on that, but I just, was really more looking for, armies and stuff. And that does matter because, I haven't really seen armies, right? I know that there's no army here. I do have scouts. It's really brutal to be taken surprise like this, and I have so many scouts in this territory. Belatedly getting some scouts on top of forts. I think maybe I have overestimated people's patrolling of their forts. Definitely you can see, right, I lost a scout here last turn. People do patrol forts, but it definitely varies player to player. So probably worth, putting some scouts on forts to see, if you can keep them there. And because, forts is usually where armies are hanging out. So, I had a lot of scouts in the territory, but not as many scouts on forts. But anyway, haven't seen any armies near here, which is good because, even though he took a lot of territory, he's not going to be able to break into my forts. So I have some time to react. So at least, the scouting, told me that. But yeah, there was a bunch of Jarls stacked up here, so if I knew Niflheim better, I probably would have been more alarmed. I was thinking maybe site searching or something, or, I don't know. Yeah, in retrospect, probably should have seen this coming, but I definitely did not. So anyway, now Nifl Jarls are all up in our territory. And, we've seen these guys before. They're pretty nasty. Here's 3 of them. So just fully geared. This is a 2-handed weapon, so this guy's fully geared. Fully geared. This is super bad news. Yeah, and then I forget. So some liquid body. Let's take a look at this script here. Liquid body is kind of like temper flesh. It just provides these resistances. So it's like I think half damage to like all like normal attack types, including I think possibly magic weapons. I think these are just a straight reduction. Not sure about magic weapons. Liquid body does hurt a little bit because it reduces your strength, but like with these guys, like who cares? You know, I mean, maybe if you're fighting something really big, but he's not. He's fighting, you know, my guys. We're just human. So that won't matter at all. Okay, yeah, here's his bless, which I think is pretty nasty. Not too, regeneration. That's a big one. And then the resistances definitely help. I mean, you know, these are both elemental damage types that, you know, our mages can do. But yeah, like, you know, 10 resistance is definitely not perfect, but it can be tough to get mages to cast damage spells like when against resistances. So like even when they can do damage, they're just like, oh, they have resistance, so I'll do something else, which usually isn't useful. Anyway, yeah, this is definitely going to help him. And then yeah, regeneration, a lot of hit points, you know, that sucks. And then of course just yeah, grab bag, like this guy's basically immune. Yeah, like at 30. Like that's, you know, it's only 10 there. Cold resistant. I think he probably just, because he's a friggin' Neefle Jarl. So yeah, he doesn't need that on the blessed. You know, yeah, he's got reinvigoration. He's got quickness. He probably cast that on himself. So he's going to be attacking a lot more often. He's got this like flying shield that's just going to like block, yeah, like 50% attacks, including spells and stuff. You can get around with like armor negating attacks. His magic resistance is pretty high. I mean, his prot isn't crazy, but I mean, it's good. And then, you know, with all this health and regeneration, his defense skill 30, that's really high. I mean, we'll be able to harass that down somewhat, you know, by surrounding him. But, you know, this chill aura, right, is going to put guys to sleep. Anybody that doesn't have cold resistance. Now, I mean, on the plus side of things, we do have cold resistance. So, yeah, all of our troops, like pretty much everything, like we're okay. We're good with cold. So, I mean, this isn't going to, you know, it'll prevent the chill auras, you know, from doing too much to our guys. So that's good news. Bad news is that these guys have cold power. And we took Cold Dominion. So, yeah, they're going to be more powerful in our Dominion. And in retrospect, I probably should have, again, seen this more coming because, you know, he's probably looking at it and like, ooh, this guy has Cold Dominion, you know, so my guys will be more powerful. And that is definitely a danger. It's kind of a thing. A lot of people in early age take heat scales, specifically because of Niflheim. And I mean, I don't know. I figured it's like, well, there's a ton of people in the game. I may not even, there's a good chance I won't start next to Niflheim. And then like cold is pretty good on Ulm as well. So I was like, well, you know, let's roll the dice. And yeah, it came up Neefle Jarl. So anyway, I'm not going to go through the gear for all these guys, but you know, maybe when we kill him. Let's finish the script at least. Okay, cool. Vulnerability. So yeah, you know, we've seen that before. Just that much tougher to kill with regular weapons. 25. Yeah. So I mean, like these poor guys, like just, you know, forget about it. Ooh, Soul Vortex. Yeah, it's a big one. I don't know if we've seen this one yet. So yeah, it's a death spell. It drains. Does it show? I don't think it actually like shows like a status, but it drains life and fatigue from anybody that's surrounding, including I think allies. So these guys are maybe a little close to each other. I'm not sure. They have really good magic resistance. I think you can resist the effect with magic resistance. Let's take a look. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Yeah, an archer. Soul Vortex. Yeah, there you go. 0 points of life drain damage. So yeah, so it does hit allies. So that's something to consider. But yeah, you can see there's a magic resistance roll, right? So you can resist this with your MR. Of course, Ulm has notoriously crappy MR, like really bad. So yeah, we're not going to be resisting this at all. We're just going to be free food. Yeah, and then they go in and, you know, they can have no problem here. So yeah, this is bad news. So let's see, that was that group. This is just a solo guy, just against a little bit of province defense. Turns out, yeah, monkeys, they don't do so hot either. And then, yeah, just a little more of our province defense. And, you know, these guys have a variety of gear. This is a lot of province defense. Oh, no, this is our governor that prepared for war and saved us so many times against attacks. Oh, man. And, like, yeah, you can see just like, nope, just doesn't even matter. You know, and this is actually, like, it's not great PD, but, like, this heavy cav, you know, are decent, you know, and got, like, 6 of them, right? And this heavy infantry are okay. The bronze guys are a little worse because it's just like less protection. But I mean, like you can see, they're just gonna do like absolutely nothing. You know, I think they got some hits. I saw some pluses appear, although that may just be from like the soul vortex. I don't know. Yeah, like that +3. Like maybe he got hit. Oh, this one's a hero. That's great. Oh, great. Increased attack and defense skills. So holy moly, attack 28. His defense is lower than the other guys somehow. Who knows? Oh, this guy's a horror helmet. We've seen those. Fear. That's going to be rough. Did we actually get some hits in? I'm just curious. Because I've been seeing like some, like, looks like, yeah, like +1. Like, is he regenning or 0 points of damage? Let's see. I mean, these are all, he's repelling attacks. Yeah, repelled. With a high attack skill, you can actually like repel attacks, and there's like a morale check, I think, to like get through the repel. And it's better with like longer weapons, and then it combos pretty well, I think, with fear, right? So he's got that horror helmet, which is going to reduce morale, you know, for guys that are near him, and then they're going to have to do a morale check against, you know, his repel. So yeah, with just a really high attack skill, the attack skill is what governs mostly successful repelling. And then of course also the person trying to make the attack, their morale. Anyway, this guy's got really high attack and he's got the horror helmet. So yeah, he's just repelling the crap out of these guys. But yeah, I don't think we actually did any damage to him. I don't even think we hit him, let alone dealt damage. So I'm not sure why he's getting those green numbers pop up. Maybe that's just like fatigue that he's gaining from the soul vortex. Anyway, yeah. And he's quickened. You can see, I mean, I have it sped up too, but yeah, it's pretty fast. So yeah, that's and then of course, you know, old age, don't forget that, you know, burden of time. So, you know, an eventful turn. And then, you know, just war is broken, just the normal, hey, we got some plus nature events. So, you know, not all bad. So yeah, we're under siege. We got some troops starting to starve. Looks like Agartha was vanquished. Boy, I didn't see a battle. I think Dominion killed him. Because yeah, these guys are just independent now. If you have no candles left anywhere on the map, then you lose. And that is a different way that you can win, especially in a scenario like this. Not a bad plan, because yeah, I mean, it's probably really nasty in here. So he probably just brought a bunch of priests onto this place and then just preached away the remaining Dominion. And now it's going to be much. In fact, the troops might go away. I'm not actually sure. It's a shame I don't keep my scout here, but you know, I'm kind of pulling all the scouts are coming back because it's all hands on deck for this. But yeah, it would have been nice to see. But anyway, regardless, like, you don't have to deal with the player. It's just much easier now to take this fort, and it might be free. So yeah, that's pretty slick. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so he doesn't even have to deal with all that Blade Wind spam. Maybe he doesn't have an answer. That'd be good news for me, because I have Blade Wind spam. But yeah, so let's see, how are we responding to all this? So dragging this guy up, you know, trying to probably link him up here. Looks like we did have a battle here. I guess we can take a look. Was there any other? What was this? Oh yeah, our patrollers actually did find somebody. So yeah, this is the false prophet. You know, they just reduce Dominion, and yeah, they're a hassle. But yeah, our patrollers actually found him. So not a lot of, you know, hey, any little bit, right? You never know. But yeah, probably trying to get him link up with this, which is not exactly a force yet, but starting to recruit some troops down here. And I mean, it is a lot of mages, so we just get a little bit of soldiers down here, and yeah, maybe send them up to try to relieve this siege. Let's see. Yeah, not breaking out of this fort. Bringing this army back to the capital, bringing a lot of stuff back to the capital, and patrolling. Definitely concerned that he's going to try to jump on top of my capital and block recruitment. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, so recruiting, doing a bunch of recruiting mages. I do not want my capital to get locked down. So yeah, bringing in a lot of stuff, patrolling with the mages that I do have, breaking out the great swords of sharpness again. Definitely, if it works on monoliths, it's going to work on these guys too. Only the one here, which is not great. Have some other gems. Let's see. So yeah, this guy's just going to go in. This is going to be Strength of Giants, which is not great. Corpse Candle, not very many of them. I think they're very difficult to hit, so like they're kind of good at tying guys up, and they just come from the edges, so hopefully they'll just go in and interrupt kind of his buff script, but you're probably not going to get a lot of kills. Weakness, I guess, probably won't matter too much on the Jarls, to be honest. This guy doesn't, this is kind of one of the problems with the split paths, is that like there's not a ton of spells he can cast. He can cast this Shadow Bolt, which is pretty good. I think that might be what these gems are for, because I think I don't see the actual death path, but yeah, I think it's actually death too. But anyway, a decent amount of damage. It doesn't have very good, it can paralyze maybe. But yeah, magic resistance, and those guys have pretty good MR. So yeah, not fantastic, but it's something. If we get a paralyze off, that'll help a lot, right? Because I mean, those guys have really high defense and attack and all that repel BS, and that'll all be no go, and hopefully our guys can chop them down while they're paralyzed. So worth a shot. There's more Strength of Giants. That's going to be really important, to cut through, because regeneration, right? So the more damage we can get, the better. Throwing a little shrink in. Yeah, the range is not great. So these guys are pretty far forward positioned, but honestly, probably not far enough for this to actually go off. I do have them on advance and cast spells after that. Some of these guys, it looks like. So, want them to, if they advance, then maybe they will get a shrink in. Also, magic resistance negates. But if it goes through, that'll help a lot, because it reduces their hit points a lot. So less regeneration. Will of the Wisp, pretty similar to Corpse Candle. So just trying to summon some more garbage. It has pretty good defense, so it can be hard to hit sometimes. It might be ethereal. So yeah, just trying to tie them up. Also comes in from the edges of the battlefield. A little bit of Legions of Steel, probably left over, to be honest. Like, these guys are going to deal so much damage. Like, it's, like an extra 2 prot or whatever, 4 prot or whatever it is. Like, it's not going to matter. Throwing out Little Swarm and Sleep Cloud. Sleep Cloud, I think, is also magic resistance negates. So, I mean, it's a little bit... I don't know, and it's a cloud too, so I mean, it's honestly, and our guys, their MR sucks, so we may just be putting more of our guys to sleep, and they have high enough MR that it might not matter, but it's like, well, I mean, could put them to sleep, got it researched. Swarm will at least keep them busy for a little while, although honestly, like, Soul Vortex is going to chew up those bugs like so quick. So yeah, it's not going to be as effective as it was. Also not patrolling with some of the Axe Warriors, so I'm not sure. That probably just a mistake. I'm not sure what the thought was there. So anyway, but I mean, we are bringing the army in, right? So if why to bring this up, so you can actually see this is like everybody that's moving into the province. So I mean, like, we got a lot of stuff, right? We got a lot of guys. So, you know, most of those spells was just, you know, trying to generate a little bit of trash, you know, to try to interrupt their script and keep them busy, you know, while we buff our guys up with Strength of Giants, and then, you know, just send them in and hope that the, you know, Strength of the almost troops is enough to cut through just all that madness quickly. Because otherwise, yeah. But I mean, it's a lot of guys. These maidens are really good, so we'll see. And he may not move onto the cap anyway, you know, because people tend to defend their caps pretty aggressively, so we'll see. And then trying to break the siege here. And I think this is our first foul vapors at play. Yep, so we're going to have foul vapors. And I did not see, let's see for this guy specifically, a lot of poison resistance on these guys. Right? Like, yeah, no poison resistance on this guy. Oh, this guy has it. Dang it. Yeah, it's from this scale mail. But yeah, this guy doesn't have it. I don't think it's on the bless either. Let's double check. Yeah, nope, it's not. Okay, so hey, you know, 2 out of 3 is good. Now, I mean, foul vapors is not gonna kill them, because they just have a ton of health and they're going to be regenerating, and poison damage gets dealt like relatively slowly. You know, it's a bunch of like little 1 ticks and 2 ticks. But I mean, it is damage, and it could cause them to rout because their morale actually is not great. 15, you know, which I mean, it's, you know, way better than like those troops we saw. Okay, this guy's morale is 20. What is? Oh, I think maybe this. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. The Wraith Sword? Who knows? Wait, it should tell us. Why? Nope. Base morale 15. That does not add up. So, who knows? He's got morale 20 for reasons. But, yeah, even 20 is like, you know, like not impossible to route. So, and, you know, every time they take damage, they're going to be taking morale checks. So, Foul Vapors is really good for that. So probably won't kill him, but might rout him. You know, hey, we'll take it, right? To free up this fort. And then the other thing too is a lot of great swords going into action here. So, you know, 4 of them, which, you know, actually I say a lot, but, you know, we only have 1 more great sword than there are Jarls. And I think the number of giants actually outnumbers the number of great swords. Oh no, it's equal. So, and one of them, see, this is just a regular giant. Who cares? That's fine. So, anyway, yeah, you know, probably need more realistically. But, you know, 4 is enough definitely to get a kill. And bringing out a bunch of the chaff too to keep them busy. And none of this chaff cares about the poison. So that's good at least. But realistically, these like attack skill 10, you know, 17 damage, that's regular. Like, these guys are never gonna kill the giants. Like, even these guys, like, you know, they get 2 attacks, but they're regular. You know, no magic. You know, these guys are like invulnerable 25 and like a bazillion other things. Like, this stuff is just gonna get in the way and keep them busy, while hopefully these guys sneak in and, you know, actually get some real damage on them. Get the kills in. And yeah, using mages here now instead of the warrior chiefs, because yeah, protection from cold is just going to make sure, you know, even though we're cold resistant, you know, once they get protection from cold, they're going to be completely okay. Iron Skin might help them survive like 1 hit in return. So yeah, and then also, you know, throwing out like some air elementals and stuff. These guys, poison resistance, sleep cloud, discussed most of this. Let's see. Yep. Poison ward, that's gonna be really important. You know, hopefully, because these guys are not, they don't have any resistance to poison, so foul vapors is gonna mess them up. But they're clustered up here all together, so hopefully, and they're in among the vine ogres. And these vine ogres are kind of nice because they're size 4, so you can fit like 1 human unit in with them, which definitely makes them better than, like, say, these terracotta warriors or these claymen, who are the same size as you know, these guys that are actually going to get in and get the kills. So these guys could like cluster around the giants and then, you know, prevent these guys from making contact. But the Vine Ogres actually can't. Like, you know, you can always squeeze in through the Vine Ogres. So the Vine Ogres are actually kind of better. I didn't realize this at the time. One nice thing about these guys, right, is they're inanimate. And same with these guys, and I think the gargoyles as well. And you do not get to drain life or I think fatigue either with Soul Vortex from inanimate units. So that's another reason that these guys are like, yeah, okay, they're not going to do a whole lot, but they're also not going to like feed them even more. Now, of course, they're already going to be regenerating, so I don't know, maybe whatever. But, you know, hey, better that they not get soul drained. But I thought these guys were inanimate, but they're not. They're magic beings, and they're mindless, but yeah, they can still get drained. So they're kind of just like big old like batteries for his guys. So that's definitely a downside of the Vine Ogres, but at least, you know, these guys can squeeze in, and the Vine Ogres will keep them busy, hopefully, while he's snacking on them, and, you know, yeah, we'll get some kills in. So yeah, Break and Siege, just going for it. I mean, this is what we got. So, like, if we can't, you know, if this isn't going to work, I don't know, better to know now, early, I say, and, you know, try a different strategy, you know, than doubling down, you know, just trying to double down without even knowing if it works. So, yeah, that's kind of the plans. You know, things have heated up. Not really. Yeah, I mean, now, like, my focus is, you know, pretty lasered in on Niflheim. Still trying to verify what Vanheim is doing, because, like, honestly, now it's even more important. Because, yeah, I mean, if Vanheim sees this attack and he's not busy, right, there's a good chance that he's just going to jump in. So verifying that Vanheim is busy, and I mean, it certainly looks like, I mean, you know, he's got a province way down here, but Jawal's got a province way up here. It looks like they might be fighting, but still haven't caught any battles yet. Anyway, just really hoping that he's busy, because otherwise, like, yeah, I mean, he would for sure just be like, hey, like, there's a capital, like, right here. I'll just sneak in and nab that. So, yeah. And then, of course, yeah, I mean, would like to know what Maverni is up to, but, yeah, we just don't. I don't know, this guy's hanging out. We don't have a ton of scouts up here, and, you know, lost a couple scouts moving through his territory. He's doing a better job than some players of patrolling. And, I mean, pulling some scouts out because, you know, need more coverage on Niflheim. So we don't have that big of a border with him, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe either, you know, he doesn't know, or, you know, is like, it's not really worth it. And it's also going to be kind of awkward for him to attack in, because, like, Niflheim's going to be attacking me here. So if he tries to also attack me, there's a good chance that he bumps into Niflheim, you know, and, you know, Niflheim won't love him, you know, trying to jump in on, like, the same territory. Like, this stuff right here, like, I mean, Vanheim already has this really big border. It's kind of a little bit far away from the main thrust of Niflheim's attack. He might be able to, you know, peel it off. And, you know, there's not going to be, like, you know, before Niflheim can really, like, lock it down, you know, and take it. So I think it's more likely that Vanheim attacks. But, yeah, I mean, still worried about Maverni. But, yeah, should have been more worried about Niflheim. So, yeah, let's see. What is the research? Yeah, still trying to finish out construction. We're so close. So, I mean, it's like, you know, research boosters, not really going to help, you know, right now with this war. But, you know, it's so close, and the research is just so terrible that, yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. Going to be going for Conjuration 6 after that. And, I mean, because we have that Conjuration bonus site, like, Conjuration is, you know, more of a priority for us than it normally would be. Although, to be honest, Conjuration 6 is kind of nice anyway. Like, Troll King's Court is kind of useful if you need to climb Earth. We don't, so, you know, don't need to worry about that. But this Sea King's Court, that lets you climb water a bit. So that could be kind of useful. And then this Flame Spirit is kind of expensive. It doesn't really climb. I mean, you can climb a bit because it's also a Fire 3 mage. Yeah, and then, you know, this gives you a Water 3 mage, and then this gives you an Earth 3 mage. And I mean, it requires 3 of that path to cast, but you maybe, you know, you could take like a 1 or a 2 and boost them up, you know, and then now you've got an actual like native 3, and then you can throw the boosters on them, and you know, now you're farther into that path. So yeah, I mean, you know, being able to climb like that is nice. But really, the main thing for us, I think, is going to be these specters, and they're pretty cool. I like them on a lot of nations. You know, you need 3 death, and I think they can only get 3 death. So again, you can kind of climb with them, you know, if you're using a booster, which we will be. We do have where's our quote-unquote death 3? Yeah, here he is. So he's a D2, which is already, you know, kind of rare for us. But yeah, he's got a booster, a skull staff, so that gets him up to death 3. So if we do get a native death 3, like an actual base death 3, then we can give the staff to him, and now we're death 4. So you can kind of climb, but they also get other paths. So they're not all death. Let's see, yeah. And one of the paths they can get is astral. And I'd really love to get into astral. You know, we're getting some astral pearls now from this capital site. So if we get some astral mages, then we can start to site search. You know, maybe do some limited communion stuff. They're actually not bad thugs either. Let's see here, because yeah, they some of them get earth, which is a pretty good thug path, so they can like self buff. They're ethereal by default, so that helps a lot. And then their attack is I think like a life and fatigue drain, maybe just a life drain. But yeah, I mean life drain, so it's pretty nice. So they're not like great thugs, but I mean we don't, you know, yeah, we don't have a ton of thug options really. So, you know, we'll take it. So anyway, and then of course these guys are going to be cheaper for us, which makes them even better than normal. And then yeah, there's a few other things we can't really cast, but these Lamia Queens are pretty good casters. Can't really cast that. Forest Troll Tribe can be kind of nice because it can break you into death. So the commander that comes with this can have paths in death, and it only requires nature to cast. But I mean, we already have some deaths, so yeah, let's really mostly looking at specters, but you know, a few other nice things, and then probably realistically, you know, one of the main reasons you want to run up Conjuration is to try to get these the elemental royalty, they call them, and like they're unique, and so if other people summon them, and then you can't summon them. And it really hurts actually, because it's like if they're already, it doesn't, you know, it's Dominion, so it doesn't tell you if they're out, right? You just cast and hope. And if they're already all, like, you know, if all the Kings of Elemental Fire have already been summoned and you cast it, it just, you still spend all the gems, but you just get a message saying like nobody answered the call. So it really hurts. So anyway, you know, some people try to rush. I mean, yeah, if you want this, you should rush to Conjuration. And yeah, we have not been rushing Conjuration. And, you know, just with our research, like there's no way we're going to get probably any of these. But 7 also provides Wraith Lords, which we'll need to do some boosting to get up to it. And it's pretty expensive. But yeah, these guys are pretty good. They're immortal. So when they die, they come back. And you know, it's great, you know, so it's, you can, you know, kind of just throw them at stuff, and not worry, you know, too much about losing them. They lose any gear that they have on them, but they're honestly pretty solid even without any gear. So anyway, would love to get some of these guys, but yeah, first Spectres. So yeah, that's where the research is at, and that was turn 46.